This conference will now be recorded.
So in the previous session, we have discussed about associations, and we have discussed what exactly the relationship and why should we go for associations among the various objects, and why can't we store the whole business data inside a single object. If you're storing this whole business data within a single object, what kind of problems will get arised, we have discussed. And how can we solve those problems by splitting the data to the multiple objects with the help of normalization. And once the data has been split to the multiple objects, then how to map the associations between these objects we have discussed. And upon mapping the association between the two objects, what are the various steps that we used to follow? We have discussed those steps, and then we have discussed about the various relationship data types given by Salesforce. Now, so these are the 12 features we're targeting for the relationship topic here, and we'll see each and every feature one by one. Now, first we'll go with the lookup association. So we have to understand what exactly the lookup association, how to map the lookup association between the two objects, and what kind of behaviors or the functionalities lookup association offers. Okay, we'll see it practically. Now, for example, assume that I have two custom objects which I have created in the past. Okay, I have created two objects. This is the first object, and then this is the second object. Now, so now this object is hiring manager object, which contains a collection of HR records inside this object. Second one, the position object, which contains some position records inside this object. So as of now, these two objects are independent. We don't have any association between these two objects. Both are separate. Both are independent objects. There is no association among these two. Now, my requirement is I would like to map the association between these two objects. Because so once a position information has been posted inside this position object, these positions we need to hand over to a HR person. Because whatever the jobs or whatever the vacancies available inside the organization, those jobs will be taken care by the HR people. HR people are going to be keep on recruiting the candidates for the positions whatever we have inside the organization. So now I would like to map some association. Then how to map the association between these two objects of type lookup? Okay, we'll see practically today. Okay, now first of all, let me go to these two objects here. I would like to go to these two objects. Go to that Salesforce org. Now, so let's take any of the application and let's place those two objects. So now I'm having this hiring manager object, but as of now, hiring manager object is empty. Okay, nothing is available. There is no records are available. Table is empty. Let me create some HR records inside my object. I would like to store some HR people's information. So now the first HR person I'm indicating because some Sachin Arora. He is a HR person, okay, from Mumbai location. He is working in Mumbai HR department. I'm giving the contact number, email ID, Sachin at the rate some gmail.com. Designation, he is a recruitment specialist. Current CTC, I'm indicating some 14 lakhs. I want to create some more. So click on save and new button. Now I'm creating one more record with the name some Praveen Kumar. And the location is Hyderabad. Contact number, I'm giving some value. Email ID, Praveen at the rate some gmail.com. Designation, he is a HR executive. Current CTC some 8 lakhs. I'm creating few more HR persons, like some Swati. She is also working in Hyderabad location. I'm giving the contact number, Swati at the rate gmail.com. Designation, she is a recruitment specialist. Current CTC, the 10 lakhs. Now I'm creating somebody. Some Vijay Kumar. He is from Bangalore. I'm giving some contact number. Email ID, Vijay at the rate some gmail.com. Designation, he is a senior HR executive. The current CTC is 10 lakhs. Now, I'm creating one more. Some Pradeep Kumar. So now he is from Chennai location. Contact number, I'm giving some value. Pradeep at the rate some gmail.com. Designation, he is a senior HR executive and the current CTC 12 lakhs. I'm adding one more. Now, I'm giving this one more record over here. So I would like to specify some Aman Tripathi. He is from Noida. Now I'm giving some value. Email ID, some Aman at the rate some gmail.com. Designation, he is a HR manager. Current CTC some 15 lakhs. Now, so these are the HR records. I have created some HR records inside my hiring manager object. So these are the 6 records which I have created. So now it is showing only the HR person name. I want to show some more fields also. Just you can go to that list view controls, click on select fields to display, select the fields. I want to show the location of that HR person, designation, and the contact number and the email ID. So now these are the HR people are available inside my organization. So totally 6 HR people are available inside my organization. Okay, fine. Now that means I'm having my hiring manager object with some records. Next, the second object. The second object is position object. Now this is the position object that we have. Already one position record is available inside my object, that is Java developer. Okay. Now 2 objects are available with both the objects are having some records. But as of now, these 2 objects are independent. How do you know these 2 are independent or related? How can we check it out? What is the best way to know whether 2 objects are independent or related? Schema builder, right? Go to the schema builder, place both the objects on the canvas. So directly it will be representing is these 2 objects are independent or related. Now, let me go to the schema builder now. Go to the setup menu, go to the object manager, click on schema builder. So now I want to represent these 2 objects on the canvas. Hiring manager object is already available. Now I am going to be representing the position object also. So these are the two objects. Now tell me, do we have any connection between these two objects? No, both the objects are independent. Okay. Now both the objects are already having some records. Hiring manager object is having some records and the position object also having some records, but these two objects are independent right now. Now I want to map the association between these two objects of type lookup. How to map this lookup association between these two objects? Now let's see practically. Okay. Now make a note of this use case. Configure the lookup relationship between hiring manager and position objects and list out all the observations and list out all the observations. That means upon mapping this lookup association, what kind of behaviors, what kind of functionalities, okay, that it provides, I would like to list out. Now, so now tell me, in order to map the association between the two objects, how many steps that we have? Two steps are available. What are those two steps? As a step one, we have to identify parent object and child object. Okay, that is the first step. So now once we have identified the parent object and child object, as a step two, what we need to do? Map the relation. That means we have to go to the child object. Inside the child object, create one field by selecting the data type, okay, as lookup, because we need to map lookup association. So create a field inside your child object by selecting the data type as lookup relationship by referencing the parent object. Okay, that's it. Two simple steps. Now let's see. As a step one, identify the parent object and child objects. Now tell me, these are the two objects that we have right now, hiring manager object and the position object. So now tell me, from these two, which one is parent, which one is child? Hiring manager is parent. Why? One too many. Okay, then what is the assumption? Why did you make this, okay, hiring manager as a parent object? Hmm. Now, can we allocate multiple positions responsibilities to a single HR person? Can't we do? For example, inside my organization, I have a small organization. So in my organization, we are having only one HR person. But in my organization, we are having multiple positions. We need few Java developers. We need few Salesforce developers. We need some Oracle administrators. Three positions are available. But I am having only one HR person because it's a small company. So we are having hardly some 50 members are available inside my organization. So one HR person is available. Can we assign all these three positions to a single HR person? Yes, because the one HR person can handle the multiple positions responsibilities also. He can take the responsibility to recruit the candidates for Java developer also, Salesforce developers also, and the Oracle administrators also. So one person can handle the multiple positions responsibility. So HR person is only one, the positions are many. So based on this assumption, I would like to make, okay, the hiring manager as parent and the position as child. Okay, now hiring manager object is the parent object and the position object is the child object. Now, that is the first step. If you are identifying the parent object and child object perfectly, then almost relationship topic is over. Because if you are selecting the wrong hiding, wrong parent object, wrong child object, the complete situation, the complete functionality will be wrong. Okay, so that this the first step is very, very important. Okay, now second step, what needs to be done? Map the lookup relationship between the objects. Then how can we map the lookup association between these two objects in this case? What needs to be done? Now, we have to create a field, okay, where, in which object? Child object, that means position object. Now, so what is the data type of that field? Lookup relationship, because I want to map lookup association, so that we have to select the data type as lookup relationship. Okay, by selecting the parent object as hiring manager. Okay, now create a lookup relationship data type field inside the position object, which references the hiring manager object as the parent, which references the hiring manager object as the parent. Done? Now, let's see. How can we implement this functionality? So now what needs to be done? We need to create a field inside my position object by selecting the data type as lookup relationship, and which references the hiring manager object as the parent. Okay, now. So now before going to this association, let me remind that point again. Both the objects are having some records. Okay, hiring manager object is also having some records, and the position object is also having some records. Okay, now let's see. So now right now these two objects are independent. Now let me map the relation between these two objects now. Go to the position object, create a field. Right now I'm in the position object now. Go to the fields and relationships link. Now create a new field. Click on new button, select the data type. So what is the data type that we need to select now? Lookup association. Select this data type as lookup association, because I want to map lookup association between these two objects. Select the data type as lookup association. Now click on next button. As soon as once you click on next button, it will ask you to select the parent. Boss, with which parent object you want me to map the association? We have to select the parent object by using that pick list control. Select that parent object related to with which object you want to map the association. I want to map the association with hiring manager object. So select that parent object as hiring manager. Now click on next button. Now it will ask you to specify the field details, and some settings will be available. Now specify the field label. Field label already giving by Salesforce as hiring manager. Now the field name also. The remaining will be the same story, you know. Now here we have a small option is available. Now let me explain the small important option. So now upon creating this field, here there is a checkbox called as a required checkbox. Now, this is a common field, we know that. But when coming to the association, this field is playing a very major important role. Now, so now here we are having two radio buttons are available. First one is having the option clear the value of the field. Second one, it is having the don't allow the deletion of that parent record, which is part of lookup association. Now, two radio buttons are available here. By default, first radio button has been selected by default. Now, each radio button will be having its own significance functionality. If the first radio button is selected, a different behavior or the different functionality will be happening. If the second radio button is selected, the different functionality will be happening over here. Both are having different behaviors. Now, observe this one. So as of now, this required checkbox is not selected. By default, the first radio button has been selected. If I'm selecting this required checkbox, automatically the selection will be getting swapping to the second radio button automatically by default. Let's see. If I'm selecting this required checkbox, second radio button has been selected. If it is selected, the different behaviors will be coming to the picture. Now, I don't want to do any settings over here. I don't want to make any changes. I would like to go with the default settings given by Salesforce so that we'll come back to these options again. Now I'm selecting the first radio button. I would like to go with the default options as it is. Okay. And then I will come back to the settings again. So by default, the first radio button has been selected. So I'm going with that same default settings given by Salesforce. Now, click on next button. Remaining story will be same, no change. Make the field to be visible to all the profile users by selecting the visible checkbox. Click on next button. Make the field to be visible on the page layouts. Now click on save button. So now my relationship field has been created successfully. So this is the field which we have created. Hiring manager field. Now it will be having this, okay, lookup association with the parent object, hiring manager. So now this is my position object right now. The position object is already having the association with hiring manager because we have created a lookup association. Clear? Understood the concept now? Now, let's come to the schema builder now. Refresh this user interface now. So now tell me, is these two objects are independent or related now? Related. What type of relation? How do you know lookup? Blue color. So now the color coding notation is indicating. So now as part of legend symbols, it is indicating blue color line is indicating lookup, and the red color line is indicating master detail, and the red color bar symbol is indicating this is a mandatory field. So now the color coding notations are indicating by Salesforce with the help of legend option. So now this blue color is indicating this is a lookup association. So now tell me what kind of association has been given by Salesforce here. Is it one-to-one or one-to-many or many-to-many or what? One-to-many. That means we have one-to-many association. It is starting like as one from the parent because we know that hiring manager is a parent object, position is a child object. So now it is starting like as one. Whenever it is reaching to the child, it will be having that many symbol. So we are having one-to-many association by default between these two objects upon mapping lookup association. Clear? Understood the concept here? Now, these are the observations. The first observation is what? Upon mapping the lookup association between the two objects, Salesforce provides one-to-many association. That means one parent record can be associated with multiple child records inside your child object. That is the first behavior. Second one is, before mapping this lookup association itself, already both the objects are having some records. Hiring manager object is having some records and the position object also having some records. Even though both parent and child objects are having some records, lookup association is applicable. Suppose when you go to the master detail association, if the child object contains even a single record also, master detail association will not be applicable. We can't map master detail associations between the two objects if the child object contains even a single record also, it won't apply. Okay. These are some differences that we have between this lookup and the master details. It's 100% common question in every interview, wherever you go. Difference between lookup and master details is a 100% common question. Okay, now make a note of this one. First observation. We'll see each and every observation one by one. First one. Lookup relationship provides one-to-many association between the two objects. That is, a parent record can be associated with one or more child records in the child object. Second one, lookup relationship can be applicable between the objects, even though the now, even though the child object contains some pre-existing records, lookup association can be applicable between these two objects. Done? Done with the points? Now, let's come to the third observation. Let's see. Let me go to my objects now. I'm having this hiring manager objects. Now, this is the object that we have. Let's go to the position object now. Try to create a new position record inside your position object. Click on new button to create a new position record. Now we are having the position object fields are available. Along with that, we have created one lookup field here. This is the field which we have created. So what is the use of this field? This field is used to select the parent. Upon creating a new position record, this position record will be assigning to whom? To which HR person you want to assign that position record. So that to select that HR person, we are having this lookup field. So now which will be populating the parent records information. Whatever the parent records are available, whatever the HR records are available, it is populating this HR records information. Now tell me, upon creating this position record, selecting this hiring manager is mandatory or optional? Is it optional field or mandatory field? Optional field. How do you know? We don't have any star mark over here. This field is not a mandatory, it's an optional field. That means what? Upon creating the child record, that means position record, selecting the parent is optional. That means in lookup association, in lookup association, while creating the child record, okay, parent record is optional. That means child can be associated or child may not be associated with the parent. That is a fundamental behavior of lookup association. In lookup association, child record may be associated or may not be associated with the parent. That means the child can live without a parent also. That is a fundamental phenomena of lookup association. But when you go to master detail, each child should be associated with the parent. That is a base rule. Okay, because these two associations are quite opposite. Now, when coming to the master detail association, each child record should be associated with a parent. That means the child can't live without a parent. That is a fundamental phenomena of master detail association. But in lookup association, while creating the child record, selecting the parent is not mandatory, it's an option. Okay, now let me create a position record. I'm creating a position record with the name some manual tester. So there is an opening that is manual tester position, which is for some Hyderabad location. Number of vacancies are 1. Now I'm indicating the position status as open approved. That means budget also approved for this position. I'm giving the minimum pay. We are able to offer some 8 lakhs. Maximum budget some 12 lakhs. Open date is today's date. I'm selecting the today's date. Milestone date, I'm giving the time till okay, May 25th will be the last date to the HR person. By this May 15th, he has to May 25th, he has to put the candidate. HR email ID, I'm indicating because some HR@some gmail.com. Contact number, I'm giving some value. For this position, passport is mandatory. Okay, because as part of my company rule, each employee should have a valid passport. So passport is mandatory. I'm indicating the position description, like as required 3+ years of experience in software testing. Now, I want to indicate required 3+ years of experience in manual testing and automation by using Selenium. Now, should be able to interact with US clients. Should be able to manage a team of 4 members. Okay, now, so these are the skills that we're expecting from the candidate. Now, upon creating this position record, I'm selecting the HR person. I'm selecting the HR person like as some, okay, Pradeep Kumar. Pradeep Kumar is the HR person to whom I would like to hand over this position responsibility. I'm assigning this position record to Pradeep Kumar, so he is the HR person. Okay, each position we can assign to a HR person so that he can able to work on this. Clear? Now, click on save button. So now in this case, now tell me, upon saving this record, inside this lookup relationship field, what it will store? It will store the name of this HR record, and it will store the ID of the HR record. ID of the HR record. Why? Why not the name? Now, suppose if I'm having some multiple people within the organization who are having the name as Pradeep Kumar, at that time, it will be very difficult for us to identify to which Pradeep Kumar we have assigned this position responsibility. So that internally it will be storing the idea of that parent record, not the name. Okay. Yesterday also we have discussed that same. Now, click on save button. Now my position record has been created successfully. So this is the position record details. These are the details of the position record which we have created right now. Now, let's see. So now I want to check it out. Go to the hiring manager. Open that HR person here. To which HR person we have assigned this position? Pradeep Kumar. Once you click on this Pradeep Kumar record, we can see the HR person details over here. Along with when you go to the related tab. Okay, when you go to the related tab, it will indicate what positions he is handling right now. Once you click on this related, so now he is handling one position that is manual tester. Okay, he is handling one position that is manual tester. So automatically it is mapping this child with the parent by default. Okay, understood the concept now? Now, so now let's make a note of this one. Third observation. While creating the child record, lookup field is an optional field. Optional field. That is, child record may or may not be associated with the parent record. Child record may or may not be associated with the parent record. That is a fundamental principle of lookup association. Done? Now, the next one. Let's see. For example, come to a scenario. Let me explain. For example, assume that I'm working in a company as a project manager. So now in our company, there is a HR person, like for example, some Pradeep Kumar. So Pradeep Kumar is a HR person. He's working in our company since almost 2 years. So from almost 2 years, whenever we are getting any new vacancies in our team, directly we are assigning these responsibilities to that Pradeep Kumar, because he is the senior most person in our organization. So that since almost 2 years, whenever we have any vacancies in our team or in our projects, we are handovering this responsibility to the Pradeep Kumar. He's recruiting the candidates on time. As usual, today also we have created one position record with the name manual tester. This position also we have assigned to Pradeep Kumar. Now, I have given that 1 month of time to the Pradeep Kumar to recruit the candidate. But just now we got an email notification from the HR team. Pradeep Kumar is going to be relieving from the company tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last working day for this person, because he got resigned to the company. He already got a new opportunity in a different company. So he's relieving from my company by tomorrow. So now whenever this person is getting relieved, then what about my position responsibility? Who will take care of that? We have to assign that position responsibility to another HR member inside our organization. That means what? Till now, for my manual tester record, that means manual tester record is a child record. And then Pradeep Kumar is a parent record. So now what I want to do, I want to transfer this position responsibility to another HR person here. Now, what I want to do is I want to change the parent. I want to change the parent. Till now, for this position record, the parent is Pradeep Kumar. Now I want to change the parent. So now in this case, this feature is called as what? Reparenting option. Okay, reparenting. So once the child record has been created by selecting the parent, at any point of time, we can reparent also. That means we can transfer this child to some different parent also. Now, because this person is not going to be taking care of a position, he's relieving from the company. So that what I want to do is just I will go to that position record. Now I'm going to changing this field. I want to remove this position here. That means I'm removing this particular HR person name. Now I'm selecting a HR person called as some Swati. So now Swati will be the responsible person to recruit the candidates for my position from now on. Okay. Now let's say this. Let's go to the Pradeep Kumar record. Refresh this user interface. So now tell me, Pradeep is handling any positions now? No. Now, let me go to the Swati record. So do we have any positions handling by the Swati? Yes, the position has been transferred to Swati. That means what? In lookup association, reparenting option is available by default. Okay. When coming to the lookup association, reparenting option is available by default. That means once a child record has been created by selecting the parent, at any point of time, we can reparent the child to another parent also. But when you go to master detail association, whenever we are creating a parent record and the child record will be completely comes under the control of parent automatically. So once the child record is created by selecting the parent in master detail, that will be fixed. We can't modify that. We can't reparent. But there is an alternative mechanism is available. But in lookup association, we no need to enable any settings here, so we can reparent the child record to any other parent at any point of time. Okay. Now make a note of this one. The fourth observation. Lookup relationship provides reparenting option by default. That is, once a child record is created by selecting the parent, then we can reparent the child to other parent records. We can reparent the child to other parent records as well. Done. Next, the fifth observation. Let's see. For example, I have the parent record and the child record. So parent record is Swati and the child record is manual tester. Okay, this is the position record. So now tell me, if I'm removing the parent record from my parent object, what about the related child? Will the child also be deleted automatically, or child will be existed as it is? Child will be existed as it is. That is the behavior of okay lookup. If it is a master detail, along with the parent, child also will be deleted automatically. Okay, now let me show you practically. So this is the hiring manager record Swati. I'm trying to be deleting the record. Click on delete. Click on delete button. So now my position, the HR record has been deleted successfully. Hiring manager record is deleted. Now let's go to the position record here. So now when coming to the position record, manual tester record is available as it is. Now, upon creating this manual tester record in the lookup field, we have selected the HR person name. Now it is indicated. So here we have selected the name as Swati, but this value has been cleared out. The value has been cleared out. That's what here, upon creating the field, there is the two radio buttons are available. First radio button is okay selected by default, which will be indicating the option clear the value of this field. That means what? Whenever we are removing the parent record, okay, upon removing the parent record, delete only the parent, make the child record existed as it is. In the child record, whatever the lookup field is available, make that field value as cleared out, make it as empty. Okay, clear? Now, make a note of this one. While removing the parent record, only parent record will get removed, will get deleted. Child records will get existed as it is. As it is. Now, in the child record, the lookup field value will get cleared out. In the child record, the lookup field value will get cleared out. This is the fifth observation. Welcome to the point. Done? Now, let's see. Next feature. So in this case here, we have few position records are available, which are independent right now. Because these positions are not assigned to any HR persons right now, both are independent. Now, let me place that field also. So let me place this field hiring manager. Now it is indicating hiring manager field is empty right now. So these positions are not assigned to any HR people. Okay, now. So now what I want to do is I want to assign this position record here to the HR person. Now this position Java developer, I want to assign to a HR person, that is some Sachin Arora. I'm assigning this position to the HR person. Next. Next one, second position here, manual tester. This position I would like to assign to a HR person called as Pradeep Kumar. To the HR person, I'm assigning this. Now, so now both the positions are already assigned to the HR people here. Now, Java developer is handling by Sachin Arora. Manual tester position is handling by Pradeep Kumar. Okay, now. So now in this case here, whenever we are creating a new position record inside my position object, that means child object, selecting the parent is optional because this lookup field is a optional. It's not mandatory. Can we make this field mandatory? Can we make the lookup field required? Yes. Upon creating the field, we have a checkbox called as required checkbox. By using that required checkbox, we can make this a field as mandatory because that facility is available. Now, it's a common question in every interview. Generally, in lookup association, lookup field is an optional field by default. Can we make it as required or not? Yes, that is possible. So upon creating the lookup field or upon modifying the lookup field settings, okay, we can able to make that field required also. Then how can we do that? Now let's see. So let's go to that position object. Go to that fields. Whatever the fields are available inside your position object, go to that position object fields. Now go to this lookup field here. This is the hiring manager field. Click on this field name. Click on edit button. Now I want to make this a field mandatory. So I'm selecting this checkbox required. Observe this one. Upon selecting this required checkbox, automatically second radio button will be selected by default here. Now it will give some different behaviors. We'll see that. Now I'm selecting this required checkbox now. Second radio button has been selected by default now. Now click on save. That means we can make that lookup field as mandatory by selecting required checkbox. Now, so let's try to create the position record right now. Click on new button. Now it is making this position record, selecting upon creating the position, selecting the hiring manager as mandatory. So it says star mark. It is indicating that compulsorily we have to select that HR person name to create a new position record. Clear? Now make a note of this one. We can make the lookup field as mandatory by selecting required checkbox upon creating or editing the lookup field settings. We can make that lookup field as mandatory by selecting the required checkbox upon creation or upon editing the lookup field settings. Done. Next, now let's see one more behavior now. So now these are the positions are available. So these positions are assigned to this HR people. Now let's try to delete this HR person record. So now the Java developer position has been assigned to Sachin Arora. Let me open this Sachin Arora record. Let's try to delete this record now. Now in this case, when you try to delete this record, observe what will happen. Now what happened in this case? So now it is giving the message to you, okay, your attempt to delete Sachin Arora record cannot be completed because it is already associated with few positions. Okay, that means what? If the lookup field is a mandatory field, if the lookup field is a required field, okay, whenever you are trying to be deleting the parent record, if it is deleting only parent, in the child record, in the lookup field will make that value as null. But already we made that field as mandatory here, so that this field cannot be null. So whatever the parent record you are trying to delete, it won't allow you to delete that. So now in this case, what needs to be done? What is the solution for this? I want to remove this record, Sachin Arora. How can we do this? I don't want to make that as optional. I want to continue as mandatory only. I want to make that lookup field as mandatory only, but I want to remove Sachin Arora record. What we can do? Transfer this position to some another HR person. Whatever the position that we have, transfer this position record to some another person. That means we have to reparent that. Then we can able to delete that Pradeep Kumar record from Sachin Arora record from your hiring manager object. Okay, clear? Now in this case, let's see. So now in this case, previously what happened, when I try to delete the parent record is deleted automatically, child record is existed. But just now I made that lookup field as mandatory. If the lookup field is a required field, then if the user tries to remove a parent record from the parent object, which is having some child, okay, when the user tries to remove a parent record which is having some child, then Salesforce won't allow you to remove that parent record. Then what we have to do? How to remove that parent record then? Here we have two solutions will be available. First solution is delete that child record from the child object. Okay, whatever the related child record is available, remove that child record from the child object by using delete button. Then parent will be independent, no related childs. Then we can remove that parent record from the parent object. That is one case. So now sometimes in the interview point of view, they will raise a question. I'm having hundreds of childs are available for that parent. I'm having some hundreds of childs are available for that parent. I don't want to delete them because those are very, very important for me. I don't want to delete those records. I want those records as it is, but I want to remove the parent. In this case, what needs to be done? Whatever the hundreds of childs are available, reparent this child records to some other parent, then we can remove this parent record. Now, here you can raise a question. Sir, if you want to reparent this hundreds of child records to some another parent, will it take some more time? No, it won't take much time. Because if you're transferring each child record to the parent manually, one by one, it will take some time. But in Salesforce, we have a feature called as data loader. There is a tool called as a data loader given by Salesforce. Through this data loader tool, we can map some lakhs of child records to the respective parents in one shot. We can do that. So that whatever the related childs are available, we can transfer all these child records to some other parents, and then we can able to remove these parent records from your object. Okay, these are the two solutions are available. Clear? Now, make a note of this one. If the lookup field is a required field, then if the user tries to remove a parent record which is associated with few childs, then Salesforce won't allow to remove the parent record. Salesforce won't allow to remove the parent record. For this one, solution one. Remove the related child records from the child object and then remove the parent record. But this first solution is not a recommended one. It's a blind solution because it will be causing some data loss. Now the second solution will be the recommended one. Now, reparent all the child records to another parent record and then remove the old parent record from the object. So this is the seventh observation. Yeah. Sorry? Right. No, because master detail association will be having different behaviors. Okay. Now, because in master detail, what it will do, if you're making like as a master required, then only not only making that field as a required field, it is having internally so many behaviors. Okay. Master detail behaviors are different, lookup behaviors are completely different. Okay. Now, done. Next one. For example, let's come to the scenario. For example, I have a hiring manager object. And then I have a position object. Okay, these are the two objects are available with me. I'm having this hiring manager object. I'm having this position object. So initially these two objects are independent. Okay, there is no relation. To map the association between these two, we have created one additional field. Okay, we have created one additional field inside my position object. In the child object, we have created one field which is of type lookup. Okay, so now lookup field 1. We have created the lookup field over here. The first two lookup field we have created. So now this lookup field is going to be mapping the relation. Okay, this lookup field is mapping the association of this particular child with this parent. It is mapping the association. It is mapping the association with this child parent. So now here we are having these two objects. Between these two, okay, to map the association, we have created one lookup field additionally. Now this lookup field is mapping the association with these two objects. Okay, fine. For example, I have one more object is available with me. I have one more object that is client. Client object. Now, I want to map the association of that position object with the client object also. Then what we can do? Same scenario again. What needs to be done? To map the association of the position with hiring manager, we have created one lookup field. Now I would like to map the association of the position object with client object also. Now this existing relationship I don't want to break. I don't want to disturb the existing association. I want one more additional association. Now in this case, what we can do? Create one more lookup relationship. So now I'm creating one more lookup association. So this is the lookup relationship field 2. By using this field, I'm going to be mapping the association of this position object with client object also. I'm mapping the relation. Next, I have one more object. I have another object with the name project object. I have one more object with the name project. Now I want to map the association of position with the project object also. Then what we can do? Again, same story. Now we have to create one more lookup field here. Lookup field 3. So by creating this lookup field 3, okay, we can map the association of this position object, okay, with project object also. We can map the association. Like that, how many lookup relationship fields that we can have inside an object? An object can have maximum of 40 lookup relationship fields. That is the limitation given by Salesforce. Okay. As part of this lookup associations, an object can have maximum of 40 lookup relationship fields. That means a child can have maximum of 40 parent objects. Okay. A child can have maximum of 40 parents. So now this is one parent. This is the second parent, third parent. That means each lookup association is providing one separate parent over here so that your child object can be associated with a maximum of 40 parent objects in lookup association. That is a fundamental behavior. Okay? Understood the concept now? Make a note of this one. It's a very, very common question in every interview and in admin certification 201 also. How many lookup relationship fields that we can have per an object? We can create maximum of 40. Okay. Now, an object can have maximum of 40 lookup relationship fields. That is, a child object can be associated with a maximum of 40 parent objects. There is no limitation. Parent can have a number of childs also. Next one. Sharing settings and security settings. of the child record is completely independent of the parent. Sharing settings and security settings of the child record is completely independent of the parent. That means child record is not dependent on the parent here because lookup field is optional. You can make it as mandatory if it requires, or else by default, the default nature of lookup field is an optional field. That is not mandatory, that is an optional. You make it mandatory or you can continue as lookup optional, also depends upon your requirement. But when you go to the master detail, child record will be completely comes under the control of parent. So that whenever we are deleting the parent, child record will be deleted. If you restore that parent, child record will come back. If you are sharing the parent, child records also will share automatically. That means whatever the operations you are performing on the parent, same operations will be performing on the child also. But in lookup association, that behavior will not be appeared because when coming to the child is having its own sharing and the security settings, parent will be having its own independent sharing and security settings. Then how can we show this one here? So now in this case here, we can show this practical proof also. Let's see. Now, when you observe this parent record and child record in lookup association, now this is the parent record that we have such in Aurora. Now here, do we have any owner field over here? Owner field. Now we are having this owner field is available. So that means this is the parent record. Parent record is having owner field. Now owner will be having full control on the record. Only the owner person can able to decide what operations has to be done on this particular record. Now he can see the record, he can modify the record, he can share the record. If required, he can delete the record also. But the other people just they can see and they can able to modify, but they can't delete the record. Only the deletion rights will be available only at the owner's hand. Suppose if other people are also able to delete my record, if I keep on inserting the record, if I keep on deleting my record, then there is no security. In this case, the deletion rights will be always available in owner's hand. Except the owner, other people can't remove the record from the object. So now this Sachin Arora record is having this owner field. Now let's go to the child record. Now the Java developer position. Now tell me position record is having owner field or not? Here also we are having owner field. So both objects are having their own owner fields. But when you go to the master detail, parent record will be having the owner field, child record will not have the owner field. Even though owner field is the default field, it's a standard field given by Salesforce, the master detail association will be disabling that field over because the child record will be completely comes under the control of parent automatically. The parent record owner will be getting the ownership on child records also automatically. So the owner field will not be available for the child in master detail. But if it is a lookup association, both the records, the parent record, child record, both will be having their own owner field. This is a practical proof that the sharing settings and security settings of both the records will be having their own independent. Okay, now make a note of this one. Both the parent record and the child records will have the owner field. Both parent record and child records will have the owner field. Next one. Roll-up summary fields can't be applicable on lookup association objects. We'll see what exactly roll-up summary fields as part of this associations. If you want to create the roll-up summary field on the objects, then those objects should be associated with the master detail association only. Those should not be lookup. Those should be associated with master detail only. Done. Next, the last one. The last observation we'll see now. For example, assume that I'm having these two objects. Hiring manager object I have, and I'm having position object also. So these are the two objects that we have. So these are the two objects that we have. Now, hiring manager object. Second one, position object. Now tell me, these two are standard or custom? Custom. Now, this is also a custom. This is also custom objects. Okay, both are custom objects. Now I would like to map the lookup association between these two. So now already we have implemented the lookup association. Okay, already we have implemented lookup association. So which has been supported. Okay, which has been supported. So between these two custom objects, we can map lookup association. Now, for example, I have one more combination. I have two more objects are available. First one is an account object, which is what? Standard. And I have a patient object, which is what? Custom object. Can we map the lookup association between these two objects? Yes. Lookup association will support. Okay. We can map lookup association. It will be supported here. Even though both the objects are different. Okay. One is standard, second one is custom. Lookup will be supported. Next. One more combination. I'm having two objects are available. Account object, which is standard. I have order object. This is also standard object. Two objects are available. Now, can you map this lookup association between these two objects or not? Yes. In this case, it will be supported. Lookup association will be supported. Standard to standard also, we can map. Next, the last combination. I have one more combination. So now here I'm having branch object, which is custom. So now here I'm having lead object, which is standard. Okay, now, so one is custom, second one is standard. Now I would like to map the lookup association between these two objects. Then also lookup association will be supported. That means what? Upon mapping the lookup association, okay, all the four combinations will be supported. Standard to standard, custom to custom, standard to custom, custom to standard. All the four combinations will be supported over. Okay, now, so in this case, what happened? When coming to the lookup association, we can map the lookup association between any two objects also in Salesforce. Okay, there is no restrictions at all. But when you try to map the master detail associations, okay, when you try to do the master detail associations, in this case, master detail association will be applicable, okay, between this, okay, two custom to custom objects that will be supported, and custom to standard object, master detail supported. and then standard to standard, master detail, it won't support. And the standard to custom, master detail association, it won't support it. Okay. Now, because in master detail association, standard object should be always on top. That should be parent only. That should not be child. That is a fundamental rule of master detail association. But in lookup association, the objects may be any objects also. It may be standard, it may be custom, it will be accepted. Okay. Clear? This kind of questions are very, very common in the interview point of view. Okay. Understood the concept now? Make a note of this one, the last observation. We can make the standard object as child with custom object as parent in lookup association. That is, it will support to map the lookup relationship on all combinations. On all combinations. These are the 12 behaviors or observations or features lookup association provides. Whenever we are mapping the lookup association between the two objects, these are the various behaviors it will support. Okay, this is the concept of lookup association. Roll-up summary we'll see next one. Okay, roll-up summary we'll see as part of this associations. Okay, done now. So now these are the various functionalities and observations lookup association provides, okay, upon mapping the association between those two objects, okay, of type lookup. Okay, now. So in the next session, we'll see the few more functionalities of the master details. We'll see what exactly master detail and what kind of behaviors master detail association provides. We'll see practically. Okay. So don't miss that next session. That will be on Monday again. Tomorrow we don't have the session. Next session will be on Monday here. Okay, at same time. Thank you.